Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the words of the Mesillas Yesharim. The Ramchal continues to speak about this idea, how careful a person has to be from the prohibition of gzela, of stealing, and we often justify for ourselves why it should be permissible, but in the world of nikios, of cleanliness, a person has to examine his deeds properly. The halacha is that when a person is on the job and they are working, and the boss expects them to put in an honest day's work for an honest day's pay, so even though they're allowed to eat, so they should have the stamina to be able to work, they're exempt from birchas hamaitzi, from saying hamaitzi lechem min haaretz, because it takes too long. Brachas achreinis the birchas hamazayin. So too to bench, to say the grace after meals, exempt because it's taking too long, taking away from the job. They're like stealing. Even if a person is working and it comes time to say the Kriya Shema, they do not have to say the Shema in the entirety, only the first parsha. That's what's the raisa, that is what is the full biblical obligation. All the more so when it comes to matters of rishus, which means your personal interests. You want to go on Amazon.com and see if you can order that thing for Cyber Monday that you were looking for. You want to make a phone call. You want to see how your kids are doing today at home while they're on Zoom over there. You want to call your spouse. You want to text your spouse and send them a little smiley face with some heart eyes popping out over there. You're in the middle of work. Are you allowed to do these things? Any person who's hired to do work for the day, you're not allowed to do it because you're bevatel. You end up nullifying, or you end up canceling out the work that you're supposed to do. And if you do get involved in your things while you're supposed to be working for your boss, you are no less than a gazlan, than a thief. Abi Chilkiah, a great sage who used to do a job when major Talmidei Chachamim, big Torah scholars would walk past him, and they would say, "Oh, Abi Chilkiah, Shalom Aleichem, how are you?" So he would not even respond and say hello. Shenasnu Shalom, he would not respond to them. Why? Because he did not want to stop working for his friend. The Yaakov Avinu, we just had in last week's parsha, how he tells Lavan all the work that he did. In the daytime I ate the cold, I ate the ice at night, and I pushed sleep away from my eyes. I didn't do anything for myself. I barely ate, I barely drank, I barely slept. You hired me, Lavan, and Lavan was a wicked man. He certainly didn't owe it to Lavan for anything, but there are laws, there are halachas, the way that a person is supposed to work for his employer. And therefore he said, I did everything within my ability to make sure I didn't waste a second. What are we going to answer if we work for somebody else and we're involved in our own physical pleasures or our own emotional or spiritual pleasures at the time that we are doing our job? If I'm on my phone, if I'm surfing the web, I was once giving a lunch and learn in a particular office, and there were a lot of computers that were set up. A lot of people were doing computer work over there, and as I walked in, I passed by and I glanced at the screens. I cannot tell you how many people were there busy surfing the web, looking at other things than besides the work that they were supposed to do. This, says the Ramchal, basing it on the words of Chazal, this is tantamount to gezel. This is stealing from the boss. A person is going to be involved in his own chayfetz, his own things that he's involved with over there, and he's not going to be working on his job. He wants to get involved in he's got his business deals going on the side to make a little bit extra money. Yeah, but you're getting paid by this employer over here. How can you be worrying about that investment, or selling that thing on Craigslist, or making that phone call to shaf the geld, as we say in Yiddish, to make yourself a little extra money? A person's not allowed to do that. That's called thievery. And in the world of nikios, of cleanliness, a person begins to become aware of these things, and they'll be so careful. They go to work, Your boss will think that you've transformed. He never saw a person comes to work 9 to 5 and actually works the whole day. Doesn't get up, doesn't schmooze around, doesn't go on the computer, doesn't go on his phone. How many times do we go to stores? The person is helping you at the cash register and they're busy on their phone. Not allowed to do such a thing, says the Ramchal. That would be gezel. They're stealing the time. They're stealing the time of the employer. Not only that, they're stealing the time of the patrons of the store. We go into the store. We want things to be going smoothly and quickly, and everything should be in an orderly fashion. When you have a cashier who's on the telephone sending text messages while they're supposed to be checking you in, that's not the job that they were hired for. So, Be'ez Hashem, as we go through this chapter, we'll see in so many areas of our life where we're just not aware of the type of cleanliness, of removing the stains over here of theft and the like, how we remove these blemishes from our avodas Hashem and the way that we proceed even in the regular business world. And if we do that, Be'ez Hashem, we will be clean and our actions will be white as snow. All the best.